Our story begins more than 60 years ago inside an abandoned chicken coop, where our founder discovered a retired teacher living, no home, no health care. So she said no to this injustice and yes to transforming lives. It's this drive, this compassion, that inspired AARP. Today, we empower people to choose how they live as they age. As a wise friend and fierce defender, we advocate for better health, financial security, and stronger communities. AARP, join us in making a difference.
A 2022 U.S. Census data report showed that the population of Latino or Spanish-speaking in Lancaster City has risen to just under 40%. On this episode, we travel to Puerto Rico with the help of Chef Flora on this south of the border success.
Hi everyone, I am Flora Gonzalez and I'm going to be talking to you today and teaching you how to make plátanos. The plátanos or plantains, they're bananas basically in English. So you have different types of banana. You have the bananas that you will pull off the tree. They're green, they ripen, you can peel them and you can eat them. You can make all kinds of stuff with those. Before they're green, we also can use those bananas. We mash them up and we make things called alcapurrias. They're filled with meat. We make things with those called pasteles. We boil those. So the alcapurrias are already fried. The pasteles are boiled. They put them in in paper and tie it and boil it. That's another wonderful way. These plantains, we are going to make tostones with them or platanutres. Platanutres are plantain chips. Tostones are these round, flat, wonderful, amazing things. So we cut them, we fry them once, we smash them down and then fry them again, and they are just delicious. So the difference between the green banana and this dark black banana is that this one here will be savory and this one here is going to be sweet. You can eat this with eggs in the morning. You can have this I can fry this. I squirt down the middle and fill it with cheese and meat. So it's just this amazing. There's so many things you can do with a green banana or even a ripened banana or plantain, as we say. So what I'm doing currently is I'm scoring the banana. And then I will take my butter knife because it's not sharp and I can get right in the bottom here. And then I just begin to pry it away, the skin away from the flesh of the plátano. And you can use gloves or no gloves, whatever you prefer. The no gloves method will give you like an ink looking color underneath your nails. And so, that takes a little while to go away, but you can cut these as big as you want or as small as you want. I usually like cutting them in fours because, when you eat tostones, you want nice ones. So here are my four. And then this here is, again, the maduro. And I will treat it the same way I treated the green plantain. Just score it I only do this one once because it's just so easy to come off. The skin just peels right off. And it smells lovely. You can smell the difference. Yes, this reminds me of holidays. When I smell these bananas, it reminds me of the holidays because usually with those, we make so many different items. Pasteles is such a long process, so you always get those around the holidays. So here we are making maduros, the sweet plantains. So these are ready to fry. And we'll take them over there in a little bit and fry them. I'm going to put them to the side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring over my empanada mixes and the empanada shells. Mise en place is a French term that they used because we know the French are big on cuisine. They are like the artists of it all. They're the elite of cuisine. So mise en place just means everything in its place. It is very important for a chef to have everything prepped and ready to go. It just makes your time faster to make things. It makes it easier. So I've already prepared everything for you. I've browned my ground beef. Those things you'll find at a Spanish market, and I'm sure you have plenty of them in your area. You can always find them. And some of the supermarkets, depending on the demographic, will have that stuff there in their produce section. I also prepared chicken stew, and it's basically what I did was I made chicken stew, like a chicken stew, and I added my carrots, my celery, potatoes. You can get so creative and add whatever veggies you want. And then I use boneless, skinless chicken thighs because the dark meat is just forgiving and it's easier to eat. It maintains lots of flavor. And then I have cheese. Some people will like to put cheese in their chicken empanadas. I typically don't do that for those who don't tolerate dairy. And then, so what I do is I'll put the cheese with the beef and cheese because it's almost like a cheeseburger, a mini cheeseburger inside the empanada. That's how we describe it. We are going to make empanadas. We already went through our filling. At home, you can use whatever filling you want. Sometimes you can make them sweet. You can kind of make an apple empanada. You can, kind of cook the apples down, add a little bit of cream cheese, a little bit of vanilla, and kind of put that mixture inside the empanada, fold it up, and fry it. Today, we're not making sweet ones. We are making savory ones. So here is our disc. It's kind of the larger disc. You can make these yourself, or because we make so many empanadas, and it's just my husband and I, we buy them already made. And you can, again, find these at your local grocery store in the frozen section, or you can find them at a Spanish market and in their frozen section. So this is a large one. They do have smaller ones, but we're using a larger one. So
and do you recommend flour or corn?
Well, if people have a gluten allergy, I would suggest corn. But I haven't found any that don't have flour in it. I have seen that they've made the shell with yuca, but when I looked at the ingredients, it did say it contains flour. So if you are intolerant, you might be able to use that. But if you are allergic, I would say use corn. Use a cornmeal, and the cornmeal to make that is really simple. I'll say it really quickly. We have fine cornmeal, a little bit of warm water, a little bit of salt, olive oil, and then make it like you're making a dough. And then you pull it out, and then you just smash it down and roll it, and then you'll have this size. And then you fill it the same way I'm going to show you. And they are actually very phenomenal. My husband and I have made them because he was having a gluten issue, and we were both like, let's figure out what we can do. Because, we always want to continue to eat yummy fried foods, even though sometimes we shouldn't. Everything in moderation, though, right?
Right.
So here we go. I took 2 tablespoons of my mixture, and I kind of put it inside in the middle there, and I'm closing it up. I'm going to pinch my edge so nothing falls out of this side. So when I handle it, it looks like a little cone or something. And then I pinch this side, put it down. Here we go. It's almost like making like the creases of the edging of the pies when you put them in the pie shell, the pie plate, I should say. And here we go. It's a handy dandy chicken empanada.
Empanada con pollo.
Yes, empanada con pollo. And here we go. I'm going to do the cheese one. The fun thing about this is that with empanadas is you can do anything. So my husband and I, typically people do chicken, they do pizza. I don't like the pizza ones, just personally, I'm not a pizza person. I'd rather have Chinese food. Oh, did I say that? Yes.
We haven't done a pizza episode yet. You're safe.
So, but you know, my husband has taught me how to enjoy pizza, and we go to the different pizza shops that have great pizza.
Oh,
So
and they're all different.
and they're all different, and they do. And then I taught a couple of students at Tech Centro, and um, the gentleman there knew how to make pizza, and he would make amazing pizza with Roma tomatoes. Oh, it's just amazing. So, so here's our beef and cheese empanada.
Beautiful.
Aren't they so cute?
Muy bonito.
See. So that's beef and cheese and chicken.
And what will you do with it now? And then you
So now, once those things are done, we'll go into the kitchen and we'll throw it in the fryer. At home, I have a large hotel pan that I've filled with oil and just fry. You can use a little frying pan. You can use an air fryer. You can bake these. They would be lovely baked. I wouldn't bake those, the plátanos, just because they probably, I don't know, they
might explode.
yeah, I don't know how they're gonna look. I actually didn't try, but with the sweet plantains, we do make this dish called what is it called? Oh wow, it's a Spanish lasagna, so it is called a pastelón, and so that is the sweet plantains with the ground beef and cheese. You can use any cheese. I like using goat cheese. I like using all kinds of cheeses. It just depends on what I feel like that day. Okay, so welcome to the frying station. This is where the magic begins. It's always good to have good oil. I know there are lots of people out there saying this oil's better, don't use this oil. Oh, now we learned that this oil is the best oil. I'll tell you what I use. I use 100% corn oil. I don't know, all the ins and outs of that oil, but I know that it works well. I haven't had anybody complain about it hurting their stomachs or anything like that. Avocado oil is one of the better oils, and extra virgin olive oil is another good oil. They do have extra virgin olive oil for frying, so it doesn't burn quite as quickly. So you just want to make sure that your temperature on, that your oil is nice and hot. Not too hot, because then everything on the outside will cook very quickly and the inside won't cook.
So what's a not too hot temperature?
Not too hot temperature. Well, I would say about 350 degrees,
okay.
About that, 350, 375. Anything beyond that, if your oil is smoking, please don't put anything in it. Just turn it off, let it take a breather, calm down, and then proceed. And even as you're waiting for it to warm up again, and you can always put it in while it's warm, but I would just wait till it cools down. But here we go. We're going to take our tostones. Remember these, the green plantains? We cut them in fours. I'm going to drop these in. I'll just put the basket in just so that I can take them out without a problem all at one time. Drop them in. You want to be careful. You can use your hands or you can use a tongue. It's probably the safest way so no one gets burned. So I will add those in there. Then I'm going to grab another basket and I will put the maduros in there, the sweet ones.
So it's important to cook them separately because they're two different tastes.
And they're two different tastes, but not even so much about the flavor. It's more about the cooking time. These are cooked faster and they're just one fry. This will cook, it's about 7 minutes. Anywhere between 7 to 10 minutes, these should cook. You want them to be golden. These back here will cook and you can have them golden, but some people just want them a little bit darker so that the inside is cooked a little bit more because they're a little bit thicker and we're not smashing them and refrying them. I'm going to take these off. Well, this is what it's looking like in there. Not too shabby. They're coming along nicely. So these are ready to come out of the oil and get smashed down so that they can become transformed into tostones.
And you'll give us the recipe for that.
Yes.
Awesome.
And then here are your sweet plantains. I think that's a really good color. I know people who will say, can you make them just a little bit darker? But I think that's a great color. If you cook them too much, the sugar, you see, actually you can see the sugar oozing out of it.
Right. Almost like a syrup.
Yeah, so there's that sugar in there. So the sugar will make it hard if you overcook it.
Right.
So you don't want to overcook anything. And then, so I'm going to take these guys, I'm going to put them over here on my cutting board. Now, there are some things called tostoneras, and those are wooden pieces that kind of fold and then make these into the tostones. But then you're limited to their size, you're limited to how flat they get. Who wants to be limited? I don't want to be limited. So what I do is I just put it on a cutting board and I do one at a time. And because they're nice and soft, they're going to just flatten. And with my knife, I'll just kind of take it off and slide it in.
So you fry them again?
Fry them again. This is a twice fry process. I used to think it was so like laborious to make these things, but once, and it would be, even empanadas, I always would think this is such a laborious process. And our parents would only make stuff like this on special occasions because it was just way too much work. Now that I have a restaurant and I do it every day, I've learned how to make these things in like less than 10 minutes, maybe. Okay, I'm exaggerating, about 15, because I have to give them an opportunity to cook. So here we go. Look at these guys. So you want to wait till they're nice and crispy, and you can tell because they'll start floating and they're no longer just kind of underneath the oil. They start doing these wonderful things. They start getting a little bit more golden.
They start swimming.
And they're swimming.
They're doing the
meeting
backstroke.
each other. Yeah. Hanging out. Hey, look at you. That whole thing.
Come here often?
Right. Fancy meeting you here. That oil looks good on you. Oh. So here are your maduros. These are lovely. Some people will eat these again like with their... This is actually really very good with yellow rice. So if you make yellow rice and roast pork or pork chops, this goes really good. This actually can go well with eggs in the morning. So you have some eggs, like a over medium, and you have some of this. You can have this for dessert. You can take a scoop of coconut ice cream or vanilla ice cream and put it on top of this thing and just eat it. With your honey, of course. Put some fresh fruit, some strawberries, some blueberries, a little bit of sweetened condensed milk over it. And this is a great, lovely dessert to share. We actually make a dessert called Sweet Dreams. And it's the whole plantain. We don't cut it. We score it down the middle. And then we fill it with 3 scoops of ice cream. Typically salted caramel pretzel, coconut, and vanilla. And then we top it with fruit and then put some sweetened condensed milk over it. And that's our version of a banana split. It's so amazing. It's to share, though. You can't eat that by yourself. If you do, don't eat dinner. So while these tostones are cooking, I'm just going to drop my empanada in there. It's all going to work out together. This process here, everybody kind of hangs out and lives together in the oil. You just have to pay attention to what's going on. Now, of course, if you have people that have a gluten allergy in any way, shape, or form, or an intolerance, you do not want to fry anything that has gluten in with your other things, because then it would cross-contaminate, and then you'll have people with a bellyache at your event, and we don't want that. We want people to enjoy everything. So being mindful of your audience and everybody that you're cooking for.
Before you serve someone, do you ask if they are gluten intolerant?
Yeah, usually people are very good with telling you, like, I can't have this, or and we like to ask, like, do you have any allergies? Especially like, what do you recommend? Then we say, what do you enjoy eating? What are some things you can't have?
Right.
So then we can make the recommendations based on their allergies or their preferences.
Great.
And then because we make a lot of our things that are made to order, we can like modify our recipe. for the individual so that they can eat here and not feel like, oh, I just came, wasted my time. There's nothing I can eat in this place, you know? So we like to customize things for people as much as we possibly can. Plátanos. The empanadas, they'll just fry until they're golden. Sometimes they get stubborn, and when you flip them over, they don't want to stay. See, this one wants to. So normally I just kind of hold them down and let them know it's going to be okay. You just need a little bit of cooking on that side. You'll be all right. Oh, you see how it flipped over again? Okay, so here we go. So those tostones, the oil should, we drain the oil so that it's not too oily. And then what I'll do is I will season them. You can just use a little bit of sea salt and garlic powder. And that's going to work just as lovely for you. So here we are. Here are our empanadas. They can be darker if you want, or they can be just like that. I like to set them up on either the folded side down or like kind of up like that so that all the oil drains to the bottom. The key to having fried foods is eating it and not realizing that it's a fried food. You don't have all this grease just kind of oozing out of your mouth or all over down your arm. I don't know, even though I think that messy food is the best food, but not greasy food, right?
And I see that you're draining them on a piece of paper towel.
Yeah, so what typically what I do is anytime I'm frying, I will have a tray set out with some paper towels lining in it so that it absorbs all the oil and nothing is just kind of soaking in its own oil. And your beef and cheese empanadas. They are lovely.
To make the tostones, begin with 2 green plantains, corn oil for frying, salt and garlic powder to taste. Peel the plantains that have been pre-soaked in plain water. This helps loosen the peel from the banana. Cut off both ends of each plantain. Make a shallow slit along the length of the plantain skin and peel off. Cut the plantains into 1-inch thick slices. Heat the corn oil in a frying pan over medium heat. Fry the plantain slices for about 4 to 6 minutes per side until they are golden but not fully crisp. Remove and drain on paper towel. Press the tostones using 2 small cutting boards to flatten each slice to about 1/4 inch thick. Return the flattened plantains to the hot oil and fry until golden brown. Remove from the oil and drain on paper towels. Sprinkle with salt and garlic powder while still hot. Serve with a dipping sauce and enjoy. To make the empanadas, Chef Flora recommends buying pre-made discs from any Mexican or Spanish food store. Then you can fill with a pound of ground beef or meat of your choice, an onion finely chopped, 2 cloves garlic minced, 1 red bell pepper finely chopped, a teaspoon of ground cumin, a teaspoon of paprika, half teaspoon of dried oregano, salt and pepper to taste, olives, raisins, optional, and then an egg wash of 1 egg to coat the dough. To assemble your empanadas, preheat your oven and then fill your circle of the empanada shell with a spoonful of filling, the meat sauce and the cheese as you've prepared. Fold the dough over the filling to form a half-moon shape and press the edges together. Use a fork to crimp the edges for a decorative seal. Brush the egg white over the empanada for a golden finish. Bake in the preheated oven for 20 to 25 minutes or until golden brown, and allow the empanadas to cool slightly before serving. Or you can fry your empanadas in corn oil until golden, as demonstrated to us by Chef Flora. Enjoy! People from Puerto Rico are the largest component of our Spanish-speaking population here in Lancaster. It was a love of food that drove Chef Flora to bring her Puerto Rican delicacies to table in her restaurant owned with her husband, Abner.
So food inspired me because I love serving people. I love good tasting food. And yeah, it's just what I enjoy that. I enjoy people's faces when they taste it. I love when you hear all this activity and the food comes out and then you hear nothing, that's like, wow. Or when the food comes out and you people say, wow, that is great too. It's like, wow, that's so good. I'm so happy that you're enjoying that and that that was of value to you. And now you know me just a little bit more. So food transcends borders. And I would say that, Latinos are very orgulloso, like they take pride in their food. So our Latino community, I think we had a hard time kind of breaking through those barriers, because everybody that I know that's Latino, they know how to cook and they cook really well. So they're like coming in a little bit like the food critic. Those were my food critics. Those are the ones that I'm like, oh, did they like it? Because if they liked it, then I know I'm okay.
Clearly, Chef Flora enjoys her work, her love of cooking, her love of people, and her love of the opportunity to welcome people to her restaurant with artwork that adorns the walls. In fact, her husband, Abner, has his own easel set up. He can do artwork while customers are eating. It's a joyful experience to be fed by Chef Flora.